Yes, everyone, good morning. Welcome back to Forever United TV. I'm Adam, bringing you all of your latest Manchester United news and updates from on and off the pitch. Of course, on the pitch, Manchester United kickstart their US tour this weekend against West Ham. It is officially weekend now. Ruben Amorim will be speaking to the media for the first time this pre-season later on this afternoon as well. We'll cover that all in the evening show later on. But everybody wants to know about what's happening with Manchester United, and the hunt for a striker and the goalkeeper does seem to be hotting up in that them two are the two positions that United are going for. The midfield one, every time I try and make a story about the midfielder actually happening, it just dies off instantly. I do actually believe that it is the striker situation at the moment, what United are really hot on. And there was a load of news last night we're actually going to bring you because Ben Jacobs came out with news of a meeting between Manchester United and Aston Villa. Then reports came out that Aston Villa have said that that did not happen. But then Romano came back in, and I'm going to show you exactly what Romano said on this and the fact that it did actually happen. So Manchester United and conversations with Aston Villa for Ollie Watkins. We know the situation. We know pretty much what Aston Villa want. We're going to bring you the Garnacho side of things on this also, with what's happening in, how important it is. Sadly for Manchester United fans, if you are a fan of United going for Benjamin Cesco, we have bad news this morning, and it does come from Fabrizio Romano as well. We'll get into that first of all, because that takes us into the Ollie Watkins in a way also. So get your comments in, please, everybody. Give me your thoughts, as always, on everything that we're talking about in the morning show. But last night's Fabrizio Romano, there was stories going around, floating around, that Newcastle had touched base with RB Leipzig over Benjamin Cesco condition-wise, and now Romano has pretty much rubber-stamped that interest. And this is the worrying thing for Manchester United, because Newcastle were in for Hugo Ekitike without even selling Alexander Isak. So that is the worrying sign of all. It's not like we can hope that Newcastle try and keep Isak on side, and it may drag out to the latter stages of the window, giving United a chance to, say, sell a player to then go in properly for Benjamin Cesco. They'd already had a €70 million bid rejected by Frankfurt for Hugo Ekitike before Liverpool came and swooped in. So the problem that we've got here is that Newcastle have the money and the room to actually go and buy not Alexander Isak, he's already there, but Benjamin Cesco, without selling Isak. That's the worry. And Romano last night did come out and say that they are going all in. They are going in with a bid for Benjamin Cesco. He is now their top target. They did say if Isak left, but still, it's going to happen either way. I think Newcastle now are preparing themselves for the exit of Alexander Isak, and it isn't looking very good at all in terms of Manchester United's hopes of signing Benjamin Cesco. There is a real obvious attraction there for United, and the deal is real if United wanted to go and speak to RB Leipzig on their terms, but it just seems like it has just been brushed aside at the moment because of the price, and that obviously with a month left of the window brings in the necessary worries, which is other clubs could come in and take that striker away, as has happened to United this season and other clubs already this pre-season. And it does look like now that Newcastle are in prime position to take Alexander Isak. They've got Champions League football. He wants to go to the Premier League. He wants a big project. Everything just seems to tick boxes there. And I'm not like it's not the end of the world that Newcastle are going to go in and probably get Sesko. I don't think that it's, like I said, it could change, and United could come in and take Isak away. Not Isak, got to stop saying Isak. I'm like desperate to sign him. Take Sesko, but it does look now that Newcastle, let's just say this, let's just cover it with this and say that they're in a miles more comfortable position financially than what Manchester United are, and they can afford to bring Benjamin Cesco to St James's Park. So that, I feel, is if you are a big Sesko fan, the big concern right now, because there is someone in a stronger position, and I just don't see Manchester United being able to compete with Newcastle. We know for a fact that even with, like I just said, even with Isak in their side, they bid €70 million for Hugo Ekitike. That is the release clause of Benjamin Cesco. So you only have to look back on what's already happened, and you know that United cannot compete with that. Sadly, I hate saying it, but these are the facts, and this is what we're up against this summer. Manchester United are really going to have to battle it out to try and get any deal that they want. And again, It's going back to what Ruben said. The transfers this summer were fought over and were negotiated hard and long and planned out. Two players that Manchester United knew wanted to come to the football club in Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha. Obviously, there was the hope that they could steal that striker away, which was Liam Delap on a cheap price, and we could have pretty much had our whole front line sorted going into pre-season right now. In fact, if it had gone well with, obviously, Liam Delap and Manchester United had got that deal done, we could have probably had our full new free signings up front going into this US tour, but it didn't. And now Manchester United have to rethink again, which takes us across to the Ollie Watkins situation. So, obviously the confusion last night, I'm going to come into the chat with this very soon as well. Thank you for everyone who's dropping the comments in and super chats. I will get to them very shortly. But first of all, last night when I was talking about Ben Jacobs talking about that link to, obviously, Manchester United talking to Aston Villa about Ollie Watkins. They have held conversations this week. Well, Fabrizio Romano went one step further. This is what Romano said on the Ollie Watkins situation, because apparently last night Villa came out and said, I didn't see what source it was, but they came out last night and said that there has been no communication with Manchester United for Ollie Watkins. But this is what Romano had to say.
The recent hours had a direct contact with Aston Villa. So there was a club-to-club conversation. Man United asked about the situation of Ollie Watkins. The answer from Aston Villa is that they want to keep the player, so Aston Villa don't want to negotiate. It has to be a very good proposal to change the story. But Aston Villa, as of today, insists on their intention to keep Ollie Watkins and not to negotiate. So let's see if Man United will decide to go big for him and try to tempt Aston Villa and to tempt the player, or if Man United will move on different targets. But Ollie Watkins remains one of the names on the list, and Man United made contact for Aston Villa to be informed on the situation.
Quite obvious there that something did actually happen with Manchester United and Aston Villa regarding Ollie Watkins conversation-wise. So there are rumours that Ollie Watkins would like to move to Manchester United. Aston Villa's stance on this is very clear, and I get this. I get the understanding of where Villa are with this. It's like we can be upset as Manchester United fans and angry that Aston Villa don't want to let Ollie Watkins go. He would, I feel, have to kick up a stink. This is where, again, I think United are reliant on Ollie Watkins possibly putting in a transfer request at some point. I think this is where this is going to have to go, because let's be honest, who do Aston Villa go out and get if they sell Ollie Watkins? That's the situation that they're up against right now, and I don't think there is anyone out there that will do the same job that Ollie Watkins has done for Aston Villa for the last few years. And I completely get Villa's stance on this. It's hard work at the moment in trying to bring players in. Like David Ornstein said on the show when we was talking about it the other day, these are very, very difficult times in terms of transfers and how complex transfers are getting. It's not an easy job. And so Aston Villa are looking at it, it's like, we could sell Ollie Watkins, yes, we could get a fair price for a 29-year-old and move on. But we're fighting to get back into Europe next season. Who are we going to get to actually come in and cover Ollie Watkins? This is the problem you've got. They don't have anybody out there. Now you could go and say, obviously you could take Jean-Philippe Mateta. United could go and get him. And if Ollie Watkins is a definite no, then Man United might actually move to Jean-Philippe Mateta with Crystal Palace. Still not signed that new contract for Crystal Palace. 1 year left on his deal. Could we get Palace to budge? This is an interesting one that's going to develop off the back of Watkins. But I think right now Manchester United see Watkins as the ultimate, the consistent Premier League goal scorer up front that is the perfect player to come in for Manchester United. That's what I think Ruben Amorim sees. What Ineos see and what obviously the hierarchy at Manchester United see, like we discussed last night, is a older player that they cannot get much sell-on factor from. And obviously, if you are going to put a contract on Ollie Watkins' head, then you are more than likely going to have to do, a 3 to 4 year deal because he's only 29. And in that case, Manchester United's payments and instalments shorten. Therefore, it's going to cost more year on year to pay for Ollie Watkins. But I think Manchester United, they're looking at Watkins, he's going to be upwards of 30 plus million a season for the next 3 to 4 years, I reckon, for Manchester United. And by that, I mean his wages and the transfer instalments on top of that, because you're going to be looking at maybe 20 million a season in terms of transfer instalments. It's probably going to be a 3-year plan like it would be with Matheus Cunha. So 60 million, unless United can get him cheaper, I don't know. 60 million quid, and obviously there you go. You've got You've got 20 million over 3 years, and that's what United can balance in. Then you're going to have potentially another 10 million in wages if he's going to be on around about 200 grand a week wages. I'm guessing that's what you're going to have to pay for an elite Premier League striker, and all of that you've got to calculate in. Is that investment worth it for Manchester United? Is that the way that United should be going? Because that is paid for in one fell swoop if Ollie Watkins gets Manchester United, along with Cunha and Mbeumo, into the Champions League. And you can laugh that off all if you want, but if you're signing someone like Ollie Watkins and you've got the players around him, that is now there, for me, enough. Obviously, with a couple more signings, I know, but that's still there. With no European football, should be Manchester United making an effort to get to the Champions League, minimum Europa League football. That's how good that front line is for United. And then that's on to Ruben Amorim. And if he fails, he will lose his job this season. Because I think that this is the case now. If United do commit to a player that is coming to the twilight of his career for Ruben Amorim, then United will expect big things from Ruben this season. There has to be something that comes back, which is European football, further up the league. Look, when you're comparing the finances for Manchester United and what we brought in, we're not going to have European football money coming in, which was approximately 45 million this year. So you look at that. What could Manchester United do to change that? Well, if United went from 15th to, let's just say, 6th or 7th, you add up all of that money, you're looking at 20 plus million, nearly 30 million in prize money alone from the Premier League for just getting further up the table. If you get into one of the European competitions, that comes the season after as well. This is what Manchester United have to be thinking of. If they're thinking about the football, then they have to commit and do a little bit of... And it is a bit of a gamble. It is a gamble, isn't it, when it comes to what's actually happening with Manchester United's striker side of things, particularly with Ollie Watkins, because he's 29. In December, he turns 30. So that's it. You've got, 2 to 3 years max out of this investment, and then it's done. It's another Casemiro, except probably not going to be as expensive. Or do you move to other targets? Manchester United, though, do have let's just say this. In terms of United, this is where Garnacho comes into the fray. This is what happens. Garnacho wants to stay in the Premier League and play in the Champions League next season, with Manchester United looking to sell him. This is from Sky Sports. That means he wants to join either Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle or Arsenal. Newcastle are not going to sign him. Liverpool are not going to sign him. Manchester City are not going to sign him. Arsenal are not going to sign him. They're going for Eza, and obviously have brought Madueke. Newcastle have brought Alanga and already have better wingers than Garnacho in their side. Liverpool, forget it. City, forget it. Tottenham, go for it, Garnacho. Go and ruin your career at Spurs even more. I'm not bothered at this point, but when you look at Garnacho, could we convince him to go to Aston Villa? This kid wants to play in the Champions League. Honestly, these players who couldn't hack it at Manchester United want to go off to other clubs now because they've failed at Manchester United and left us where we are. Because they have. They are a big part of it as well, and they are culprits to where Manchester United are right now. And I think this is the biggest issue that we've got at this football club, is the attitude of these players has left us with players that nobody wants. And that is always going to kill us. But could we actually use Garnacho in some form of swap for Ollie Watkins? That's something that has been talked about and has been rumoured to be potentially happening with United now. And again, I'm still not convinced that's going to happen. I'm not convinced about anything with Manchester United players going the opposite way. I know that United want these players. I'm convinced that United would be in for Sesko, in for Watkins, in for all of these decent players. I know that for certain, but I just know now that we've got an ownership model that isn't going to overspend, that's not going to throw money away willy-nilly, and we've got players that nobody wants, or nobody wants to spend decent money on anyway. Hence, all of the loans that are happening right now. Look, we are now it is the 25th of July. We have just over a month left of this window, in which there have been 3 months worth of transfer activity, doable transfer activity. And we haven't had one concrete offer for any of our players. 2 months in, not one offer apart from a loan for Marcus Rashford. That's it. So when it comes to it, that tells you exactly where Manchester United are struggling. It's not the players that we're looking to buy. We just don't have the room. We don't have the money to buy these players for the price that clubs are asking. You could just go out and get Ollie Watkins for 60 million and say, there you go, Villa. Bang. Like Romano said, it's going to take a big offer for Manchester United to go and get Ollie Watkins. The only way we've got any room in this, and this is the last hope really, which is Garnacho going to Villa and softening the blow here for United. And that way United could literally just come in, make this deal happen. Garnacho is gone and Watkins comes in. That ultimately, that's what Manchester United have got. Or you could do it the other way with the goalkeeper. Like Romano also did say that the loan offer went in for Emi Martinez. And quickly, just on that one with Romano as well, I just want to play out what he also said with the approach to Aston Villa for Emi Martinez also here. But this is more on the goalkeeping side of things and where Manchester United are going with this, because I think this is pretty much a done deal going off what Romano said anyway now.
Lammens from Royal Antwerp remains the name. A player really appreciated by Man United, scouted for a long time, with the player also keen on a move, so that remains the way. Young goalkeeper, old goalkeeper, experienced, because old is not a nice word for one of the best in the world, if not the best, like Dibu Martinez, so for sure Manchester United are working on the goalkeeper. And remember the priorities. This meeting with Aston Villa is confirming to us the two priorities: the striker and the goalkeeper. At the moment, no green light on loan for Emi Martinez, no green light for Ollie Watkins, with Villa intention to keep him, but to show how Man United are working on these two possibilities, on these two positions.
I was muted then, sorry everybody. I just realised. I do apologise. But yeah, I was just saying then, Senny Lammens is seen by Fabrizio Romano as the actual target for Manchester United on the goalkeeping side of things because he's cheap. Could United go to Villa and say, look, we want Emi Martinez, we'll take him. You have Garnacho. We get some change from that, which is 100% profit, because obviously Garnacho is valued higher than Emi Martinez. And United go elsewhere and get a striker somewhere else. You've got Emi Martinez. Garnacho is gone. Two birds with one stone, i.e. goalkeeper coming in and Garnacho leaving the club permanently. Finished, money in the bank. Go and use that money to then put as a down payment this summer for a Jean-Philippe Mateta or something like that. Romano is pushing the Lammens side of things though, because I think there is something there with that. So again, with United, I think what they were hoping ideally here is that Watkins' price went to about 45 million, which is what they want to pay. Garnacho went for the 60 million that Manchester United want for him. There's 15 million change. Garnacho's gone, the striker's in, and you've got 15 million there to go and spend on Senny Lammens. You've got a striker, you've got a keeper, you've got your 2 10s, and then you can try and move Antony and Sancho on in the last few weeks of the window and maybe use that money to bring your midfielder in. I'm thinking that's some form of plan there for Manchester United and what we can do, and it's easier said than done, obviously. But what we're looking at here, I feel, is the problem again with players that nobody wants. And let me say that all of Manchester United's players have interest from the Saudi Pro League. We know this for certain. Antony, for instance, I'm coming into the chat now, everybody, in a moment as well on all of this. But just wanted to talk quickly about the situation, first of all, from what Romano said. I'll get on to Antony in a minute and where we're actually at with him because he's separate. But Garnacho does hold the key for Manchester United in a lot of what's happening this summer. And I think if Villa did want a Garnacho, then the potential of Watkins is there. But again, that is all down to Villa's valuation. If they're sticking to 60 million, we can wave bye-bye to Watkins. And obviously, Benjamin Cesco is also going to be by. Where United go with this, I don't know. But it's going to be looking likely that United are paying around about 50 million plus for a decent striker, particularly if he's coming from the Premier League anyway, to try and get that sorted this window. But hey, look. That is the situation where we're at with Watkins right now. Romano clearing it up, backing up what Ben Jacobs said about the meeting that did happen, unlike what some Villa accounts are apparently saying Villa said that it didn't happen. United have contacted Villa about Watkins. The loan for Emi Martinez was also offered. They were prepared to pay the loan fee and take Martinez on loan, which is interesting. So they have actually bid for Emi Martinez now. And they are interested in Ollie Watkins. They are the facts. United have gone for it on that side of things, but we're way short, as has been stated there by Romano. It's going to take 60 million to get Watkins, and at that point, you're pretty much saying that's not going to happen. And Watkins is then off the table, like all of the other strikers. And sadly, like it's like, I still think United have done well in the window, but it's hard to sort of go against people that would then say, well, look at that, that's Liam Delap, that's Victor Gyökeres, that's Ekatike, that's Sesko, that's Watkins. You're getting into the other hand there. You're into half a dozen strikers that Manchester United have actually been interested in that they've not been able to get. Anyway, into some chats and into the super chats. Thank you, Ado, first of all. Super chat there with nothing written on it, but I really appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Stewie, welcome to the members club, mate. Really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. James, a.k.a. Pouring. The rest of your name has just gone off the screen there. Sorry, mates. Get Watkins. We aren't in a position to chance. That's what a lot of United fans would look at. It's like, just go and do it. Are we falling into the same trap, though? Like we did before, where we get stuck with a player that's on stupid money and has cost us a fortune that isn't going to play for seasons to come. That's the big worry, isn't it, for United? Like Watkins, I think, is different to Casemiro, I do. I still think Ollie Watkins has got 2 or 3 years left in him. But Manchester United are looking past that 2 or 3 years, I feel, and that's the problem we've got. I don't think United are prepared to pay over the odds for a player that's over 26. Never mind 29 that's worth 60 million in Villa's eyes. I get it. I do. A lot of fans will say after all of this, you've just given up and gone back to how we was and just desperately buying players right at the end. Ant says, Mateta 1 year left, 50k a week, but what's the point in shiny new alloys when the engine is still bloody knackered? Sort out our gaping hole first. As in, what, mate? Is that the midfield you're thinking about? They are looking past the midfield. It is all about the goals. That's all they care about at the moment, it would seem, mate. We'll see what happens with the midfield situation. Or that could change again. Fornstar, thank you for that super chat. We need Watkins to come out. That he wants United. Watkins needs to kick up a stink for this to happen. I said that at the top of the show. But Fornstar, you're right. I think if he wants to move, then he's probably going to have to make something happen, I feel, for this one. We had better hope of Garnacho can be talked into Villa. Chelsea won't take him without a swap. And Jackson thing does not interest me at all. Yeah, that's the... Again, like... they're interested in Xavi Simons, and that is continuing right now. Also interested in Morgan Rogers as well, from Aston Villa, according to the reports for Chelsea's hunt for a forward. But, again... It is just proof that Manchester United's players are bottom of the list for everybody. Nobody's willing to take a risk anymore. That is a massive problem that we've got right now. 40 mil max for Watkins. If they don't take it, move away and get a midfielder. And we keep faith in Rasmus. Oh, I don't think that's even scarier, to be honest. But yeah, it is. Tushar, thank you for that. I mean... That there, I think, is another reality that we have got. We go with what we've got and we try and fix the midfield instead. It could work out well for Man United. We could have enough goals in what we've already got. Rasmus might actually turn into be a better player with better players around him. You just don't know. Is the worry and the biggest concern right now. Hugo, welcome to the Members Club, my friend. Thank you for that. Keep your comments coming in on this. Everybody, thank you already for all the likes that are in the house. Thank you again. Please pop a like on the video if you haven't already. Really going great guns as well with the subscribers again at the moment. Thank you, everybody. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. I love you all. I believe Garnacho will either go to Spurs or Villa, but as a loan deal, not only to see how he performs, but also to see what kind of attitude he shows. We'll get Watkins, I'm certain of that. Garnacho on loan, if you give us a cheaper Ollie Watkins price, but then again, they still have to go out and buy somebody else to replace Watkins. This is the worry. Again, like, nobody's going to put everything onto Man United players. It is so sad that this football club is where it is right now, with nobody wanting to pay for any of our players. It's a nightmare. And I can only imagine, like, some of the people working at Manchester United right now are like, I can get this deal and that deal done. And then bang. Nope, the player won't leave. The player's not accepting that deal. And the club buying them are not going to take a risk. And they're quite within their right. You only have to watch United last season to get that feeling for that player in a Man United shirt and go, well, why are we going to risk that? If that's his attitude at United, what's going to make him change? A leopard never changes his spots. Why is that going to be the case for us just because he's putting a different colour shirt on? They cannot afford to take that risk, just like Man United can't afford to take risk. Every club's in the same boat. So United players have got that title on their heads, aren't they? They are labelled as problems. And why are United selling these players? United have exiled these players. They're clearly a big issue, aren't they? Graham says, Watkins scores 16 goals and had 8 assists last season. He's 29. Younger than Sheringham. Stop disrespecting him, Graham says. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? It's proven quality in our league that has been doing it consistently for the last 3 to 4 seasons. That's what you buy. It's not like you're buying Casemiro, who is comfortable in a world-beating Real Madrid side that's actually comfortable nearly every single week and has got get-out-of-jail games. And let's be honest, Watkins can reserve energy in that number 9 position and not have to bust a gut constantly. Maybe he can last long. I mean, look at Harry Kane. Harry Kane is still smashing it now into his 30s. So, again, you could have a similar scenario. Look, we were all for going in and getting Ivan Toney at the end of last transfer window. So what's the difference between that and Ollie Watkins? Ineos and not wanting to spend money on a player that is going to be 30. That's what's stopping this deal happen for United, I feel. Derek says Villa will sell and just trying their hand with 60 million negotiations and will lower to 45 to 50 and take Garnacho. I hope you're right, Derek. I hope you're right, mate. Watkins isn't worth 60 million. He's a good player, but not for that price. At that fee, we can get someone like Mateta. Do United move to Mateta? Do we move to Mitrovic? Do we move to that type of player? Mateta is obviously a lot younger. Well, two to 3 years younger than Watkins. 27. He is that typical strong type of old school number 9 that Ruben can probably liken to what Gyökeres was doing, just a bit less when he was at Sporting. But again, I think he does fit the mould. So again, it's going to come down to what Ineos like and what Ineos want to do. Do they want to spend the money on a player like Watkins? Because I think Sesko, now that Newcastle are in, I think Sesko's off the table for Manchester United. I really do. Cal says 100% yes for Watkins. For me, of what's left, in terms of the strikers left, Watkins is the best bet. Mateta's just turned 28. I was around that mark anyway. If Ineos don't want players over 30, why didn't Bruno accept? Why didn't they accept for Bruno? He's 31. Bruno's been at the club for years. I think it's different. They don't want to bring players in like Bruno's paid for. They're having to spend money to get these players in. That's the difference. Great players with technique such as Teddy, Robin Van Persie, Lewandowski, Kane can play till their mid-30s. Watkins has no flair and relies on pace. I don't think he does. He will be crap, says Dan. He's not a pace player. He's no slouch, but he doesn't rely on pace. He's a good, classy number 9 player, I think, who has got great intelligence. He knows where to be. I think he's just got that striker's brain. And that, I think, is gold. And for Manchester United right now, that could be key. Someone with that little bit of nous, rather than the excited enthusiasm and over-enthusiastic Rasmus Højlund, who just panics. And he does panic. There is no calmness when he's going through on goal, is there? But, again, Ollie Watkins pays for himself. If he turns out to be the player that we know he is, and Cunha and Mbeumo do turn out to be the players that we know we're bringing in with them too, United could make top 4 next season. Laugh at me all you want. That is still there for United if you bring someone like Watkins in. Because the goals that will bring, and I'll keep on saying it, and you can keep laughing it off, but with no Champions League or European football, Manchester United have a huge advantage with the players that we're bringing in. And I do still think it is a possibility for United, but that will be with, obviously, bringing in a top striker. In terms of the issues regarding moving players on, again, now we know about Jadon Sancho. Now, there is a story going around of the intermediaries, again, that famous word this summer, my God, talking to Juventus about Jadon Sancho. I've given up on the Jadon Sancho situation at this moment, as in anything happening soon. After everything that went down with Juventus and how close we were told it was to be then completely put back in our place by David Ornstein, where the deal is not anywhere near done. That pretty much finished it for me. If he's going to Italy, I'll wait for a big report. That's all I'm going to say with Jadon Sancho anymore. I don't care. So I don't care who reports it, unless it's someone big who says that this deal is now close. Just like Ornstein did with, obviously, Marcus Rashford and Romano, then I don't give a shit. So pictures of intermediaries that are going around on social media meeting with Juventus for Jadon Sancho, I don't care about. Just sell him when you can. Get rid of him. I think he will be a player that does get sold this summer. It won't be for what Man United want, but that's going to be the case with every one of our players. Antony next, and where we're up to with him. In terms of this deal right now, and this report has come out from Sky Sports again. Two of Saudi Arabia's top clubs are interested in signing Antony. A move to Real Betis is unlikely at this stage. Antony is taking his time to choose his next move and could be open to Saudi Pro League, but prefers to stay in Europe. I would sit. This is where it's difficult again. Who is going to win here? Antony wants to be playing football. He needs to be playing football to get into the Brazilian squad, and obviously, if he cannot get his move to Betis, he is thinking moving to the Saudi Pro League, he's going to lose his chance of being in that Brazil squad for the World Cup for Ancelotti. I think he probably needs to have a conversation with Ancelotti to say, like, if I move somewhere, because I think this is how Antony is thinking right now. If I move somewhere like the Saudi Pro League, do I still have a chance of playing in the Brazil squad in the summer? And then I think that changes Antony's look on things. I actually do think that is then a possibility for him. But at the moment, like we said yesterday, it's all on Antony wanting his Betis move. If Antony ends up going to the Saudi Pro League, then Manchester United, again, that transfer window opens up completely. We could even go back in and bid for Benjamin Cesco if we wanted to. But it only happens if Antony is sold. A loan to Betis is not helping Manchester United in this situation we're in. It does help with the wages being off the book, but Betis are not even prepared to pay all of them. So it's like, if Betis are going to loan Antony, they're going to have to pay a loan fee and cover all of his wages. And that's still not going to really hit what Man United need. Yes, we're going to be a few £1 million better off. We'll have a loan fee in the bank as well. So you add that to the Marcus Rashford savings, and you could maybe make a player happen through that. But United need to sell Antony ideally to move forward. If it's the Saudi Pro League, then United could actually get 40 to 50 million for Antony. His wages are not going to be a problem. They would be gone. Antony would be sold. We'd have cash. We'd have actual profits off PSR. But that's a dreamland. And Man United never seem to be able to sell players to the Saudi Pro League, whereas other football clubs seem to be able to flog them easily. We're hearing stories that Liverpool are ready to sell Darwin Núñez now to the Saudi Pro League and going to get 60 million quid for him. It's like, God, why can't that happen to United? Why can't that be us selling these players and getting them out of the door? This is the big concern, isn't it? It's like we just don't have that opportunity. There is nothing there when it comes to Manchester United right now in selling players on at the right price. The only player that we had a chance of selling for decent money was Bruno Fernandes, and the club decided that they didn't want to sell Bruno. So that decision was made, and United are going to have to live with that now. And Ruben did come out and say that we will find other players to sell and other ways to make money. So this again is putting pressure on Ruben now. Ruben doing this and doing what he did with Bruno in a way, has accepted that what Ineos are doing is good and good for the club. So the pressure is going to be on Ruben Amorim this season to make things work. But what United do to raise funds, that's going to be a big, big question mark. It really is, in terms of how we actually get that money in. Graham with a super chat again. Watkins is a centre forward who does everything you want for that position. Holds the ball up, brings runners into play, scores goals and stays fit. His injury record is very good. He does stay fit. And like Graham said, he does have an all-round centre forward game. Football brain. Ollie Watkins. That, I think, is gold. You can talk about pace, you can talk about power. You can talk about being good in the air. By the way, Watkins is excellent in the air. And look at his goals this season. That, I think, is exactly the type of striker that Manchester United need, because Rasmus Højlund isn't good in the air. He's not good with his feet, and he panics. He needs to learn a lot about football to become the player Manchester United need. And right now, I just don't think United have got the time. I don't think Ruben's got the time, and I've said this constantly all along. Look, United now are in a position where we just don't have the amount of time to help players out, to develop players, which is why we are looking at players that are actually going to be ready to go for Manchester United this season. And that's what's happening. So just to go over everything again, I know there's people that would like Sesko to come in. United are not financially positioned to go for Benjamin Cesco right now. Newcastle are financially positioned to go for Benjamin Cesco right now. And Romano has said that they are ready to put their proposal forward to RB Leipzig and Benjamin Cesco. What that is, we don't know. It may be cheap, because they went in with a cheap option, a cheaper bid for Hugo Ekitike before as well. So maybe it is going to be a lower ball offer from Newcastle for Sesko, and it gets turned down, and the saga will continue. United will not buy Benjamin Cesco until players are sold, or even bid for Benjamin Cesco until players are sold, and none of them are anywhere near close to leaving Manchester United. They're the facts. That's all you need to know. It doesn't matter how you balance it out. It doesn't matter how you break down the finances. I've done this before. It's like we could say right now what it's costing us in terms of instalments for players like Mbeumo and Cunha. That does not matter to this point. You could say that Cunha's costing us just over 20 million a year. You could say that Mbeumo's costing us just over 16 million a year. You add the wages to both of them players, and they're both well over 20 million a season right now, costing Manchester United. And that seems cheap. And you're like, yeah, we can go and do that for somebody else easily. Not until you move other players on. Because let's not forget, you've got all the players, and I mentioned this last night. You're still paying for Casemiro the same way. You're still paying for Sancho the same way. Antony, Rasmus, Onana, Mason Mount, Martinez. Like, all of these players are still coming out of Manchester United's books. That's the financial freedom that we've got. That's the room we can play with. Forget about the transfer fees. It's fitting in the annual. It's fitting these players in and their instalments into the annual accounts. But even that is still stacked up at the moment because of the shit business that we've done before. And I keep on banging on about that. But that is the important thing. Until players are moved on, it's like making space in United's accounts for a new player to step in. So, again, I said it, like when Maguire leaves and Casemiro leaves next summer, the amount of wages cleared off the books. If Rashford is gone next summer with a transfer fee and his wages off the books, Sancho definitely gone. No matter what we're talking about now, he's definitely gone because his contract's over, off the books. Like, all of these players are eventually going to go. And maybe it's just 1 year too soon to be getting excited about all of this changing at Manchester United and all the crap gone. It's a big job to try and move all of these players on. And you can't get everything done in one window. That's the important thing. Ross with another super chat says, Watkins, Cunha and Mbumo, no goalie yet, top 6. Yeah, I think that definitely gets us top 6. I think that gets us in and around 6th position with them 3 players up front. I don't get me wrong, like United's XG last season was decent. We just didn't take chances. When you're bringing in players like this, Watkins, Cunha and Mbumo, you're bringing in a completely different... And don't forget the importance of Mbumo and Cunha coming to Man United, by the way. Like, they are going to change the way that United operates. When they start to integrate and they start to play and get used to the players around them, United don't have an horrendous team. 2 or 3 positions that we really need to upgrade, and this team then, I feel, has got massive potential. The younger players that we've got in this side, if you fix the striker and the goalkeeper and you bring a midfielder in, then Manchester United will be challenging for the Champions League next season. This season coming, the top 4. That definitely is there for Man United. 100% it's there for me. That's how I feel about it anyway. Cal says, Watkins, Cunha and Mbumo, front 3, solid Prem proven forwards. That gives me hope we can do okay this season, even with the central midfielder and the keeper issues. It gives you that. It does. Because when you're actually... I've said this before. It's like Manchester United, and you watched it at a game. And I'm not saying that because you're not at the games, like I luckily get to go to quite a lot. You can see what teams do. They will just take Ahmad out of the game. They will take a risk on Rasmus Højlund being free, Garnacho being free. They will take the main man out of the game. It's easy to defend against Manchester United. We still created chances because teams were allowing us chances because they knew the risk of Ahmad running through brought a goal. The risk of Garnacho and Rasmus running through on goal, less likely. When you've got Mbumo, Cunha and you could potentially have Watkins on goal, that changes the dynamic up front completely. Because if one misses, the other will score. You have got there 60 goals added to your team this season, near enough, in Watkins, Mbumo and Cunha. You cannot ignore how important that is in a season for Manchester United. That there is absolute gold right now. Is it worth blowing your budget on just getting Watkins in at the moment and getting that deal over the line? Maybe try and loan in Maybe try and loan... Do you know what? It's a situation here. It's like Manchester United could probably just scrape a buy for Ollie Watkins out of this window and not be able to afford anybody else. But then you could just say, this is with no one else leaving, by the way, which we probably will. Worst case scenario, let's look at it this way. United get Watkins in, they pay big, and they make it work. Budget gone completely. What do we do then? Right, okay, how do we work it? Right, Aston Villa might want to loan Garnacho. Give us a loan fee, pay all of his wages, no problem at all. Garnacho's gone there. But we'll do that if you loan us Emi Martinez. Same way. Loan us Martinez, we'll loan you Garnacho. And let's see where we're at the end of the season. They've got a keeper in already. They might not find that that's too bad. They're getting a favour off United. Yeah, obviously they still have to go and replace Ollie Watkins, but they've got the right price and they could probably go out and get another striker for Watkins. Things like this have to happen. Could we get then, if we sold, say for instance, Jadon Sancho for peanuts, just got him off the book and clear, could we scrape a midfielder in? You could actually probably bring Wilfred Ndidi in for, what, 5 to 8 million quid. That deal is still waiting, by the way. So then you've got your defensive midfielder in who's got massive Premier League experience. You might not like it, and you know he's not my top target either, but still, when you're trying to figure out ways of getting the best out of this window, you've got no commitment on the goalkeeper. You could then save the money that you were going to buy the goalkeeper with, put that towards Watkins. And this is only through, obviously, Villa accepting Watkins going at top money and Martinez going on loan because we've given them Garnacho on loan. Get Sancho off the books, take a minimum payment for that. It's just get him gone. You've saved his wages. You've got that to Marcus Rashford's as well. Obviously, you don't have to buy a goalkeeper now because you've got that player in. And maybe you bring Wilfred Ndidi in, or maybe try and make a deal by selling Antony and then going and paying cheap for someone like, I don't know, you could go for a Javi Guerra or you could go for a João Paulinho. You've got an abundance of Premier League experience winners. The window can still flip on its head and change. That's what I'm saying. Don't give up on it just yet. It seems a bit doom and gloom at the moment because obviously we're looking likely that we're not going to get one of our top striker targets. But it's not over yet, is all I'm saying. Give the window time and let's see what cooks. Because things change very quickly. And United do have other options. Mateta's not signed. Mitrovic is there wanting to come back to the Premier League. If he takes a pay cut in his wages from his 415 grand a week wages he's on in Saudi, Mitrovic could come in and be a striker for Manchester United. There is lots of options that make United stronger yet to come in this window. And I just think that Manchester United have got a few things that they're working on behind the scenes that could still come in and work for United. Look, there are options there. Look, Mateta, 40 to 50 million. We know where Watkins is. You've got Mitrovic waiting in the wings as well. You could go and get him if necessary, if needed. Then you're looking at midfielders. You've got Indeed. It's not the best option. But Javi Guerra is 21 million. You could go and get him. Obviously, Paulinho is there, 25 to 30 million. If you're that desperate to bring someone in and buy him, want to sell him, maybe you could scrape a loan out of him. What options are there again? There is definitely something that Manchester United can do in this window. How they go about it and what happens, I couldn't tell you. All we're doing is going through the news right now. And just to round up the news there and where we're actually at with everything, just so you're clear, if you have just joined us in the show, cheers everybody. Please drop a like on the video as well if you haven't already. Appreciate that. You've done amazing again in the chat there. But Sesko looks likely to move to Newcastle, you would say, if that proposal that Romano is saying Newcastle are going to go in with and go big with, in his words, is of the liking to RB Leipzig. They're in a better financial position for buying Benjamin Cesco. Could we see the back end of these talks for Benjamin Cesco? Is it all over for him? Manchester United have contacted Aston Villa over Ollie Watkins, but Villa would only accept in the region of 60 million for Watkins. It has to be a big bid to get that deal over the line. Bit of a worry and a concern there for that one for United. Do we go all in and spend the rest of any budget that we have got on Watkins? That's the debate we've been talking about tonight. There is interest from the Saudi Pro League for Antony, and there is still a chance, apparently, according to Sky, that this could actually happen if United stand firm with Real Betis. Antony needs a club. He wants to play in the World Cup. He preferred to stay in Europe, but he's weighing up his options. Let's see. United might be playing a game here with Antony. It's like, you're not going to play for United, and you're definitely not going to get into that Brazil squad. We're not going to accept Real Betis' offer. Find another club. They have to be strong with him. Sancho, honestly, don't care. There are intermediaries apparently talking about Jadon Sancho moving to try and finalise the deal to Juventus again. When Sancho leaves, I will get excited, and I'll keep on saying that. No movement on anything else at all at the moment in leaving Manchester United. Obviously, with the club going out on tour, it's obviously taken a little bit of the shine away from the transfer window. And obviously games are going to start creeping in now. But I think business will still get done while we're on tour. Probably not as significant a business in terms of here we goes and things like that. But still, business will get done while we're on tour. And a lot of stuff will be talked about still. And we'll have it all covered here. Ruben is speaking to the media for the first time later. So we'll see what questions the British media ask the manager there as well. That should be interesting. The first press conference back. Let's see what he says. We'll cover that on the evening show again today. And of course, obviously, I will bring up anything else that does drop if there is anything significant today. It does look like it has gone a tiny little bit quiet on things, talking about the striker side of things. But like we've said before, the goalkeeper situation and the striker situation actually do look like they're about to finish their course. It looks like we're going to get decisions sooner or later because let's be honest, time is starting to tick with the window. There's a lot that still can get done, but if you're going for big players, I think someone like Ollie Watkins, I would expect to happen quite soon, within the next couple of weeks, because Villa would want to try and find a replacement for him. We just don't know. what's going on behind the scenes. So let's see what happens with this. I think there is a chance that things could still move forward with that one. But hey, look, that is our show all wrapped up this morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of it. Don't forget to click on the link in the description if you want the retro Manchester United shirts. Loads of different tops in there, everybody. So please click on that. Some of the mods will drop the link into the chat as well. Please do check out the Match Bingo offers for the games this weekend coming up in pre-season as well. Scan the QR code on the screen right there, everybody, or go into the description and click on the link. Playing bingo with match events for £2 a card. Get on there, drop in your deposit after downloading the app of £5, and Match Bingo will double that to £10. Boost your earnings by 200% if you put the promo code FUTV in capitals as well on that, everybody. Check out all the games coming up, including the Women's Euros final on Sunday as well. We haven't got a Match Bingo set up for my women's team just yet, Winton ladies. I'll work on that one. I'm only joking. But yeah, please do get involved in all of them. You are missing out. It is great fun as well. And that is it. Mods in the chat and people super chatting and all of your comments. Thank you, everybody. Great morning show again. Really appreciate all of your support. Please pop a like on the video. We've gone over the 500 live likes again, which is brilliant. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button as well. Both that and the likes are free and help the channel out massively. And we will be bringing back some good news soon. I'm telling you that we are going to see plenty of action in this window still yet to come. There's a lot to do. And we are now going into, well, near enough the last 30 plus days of the window. So excitement building, I would think, as to what could happen. Can United conjure up some form of miracle transfer ending to this window? We will see. And I'll have you covered here on FUTV United TV. Cheers, everybody. I will see you all later on. Have a great day.